We have a quarterfinals matchup here in the CCO Winter Showcase from Pack Academy and Apollo coming at you this evening. I do have Ocean joining me in the booth tonight.
Our last quarterfinal game, and then followed by this, the winner of this match will take on Danny DeFedo in the next round. Of course, Pack Academy came through the same group as Danny DeFedo, Group 1, and Apollo came for Group 2 undefeated.
Yeah, Apollo coming in 3-0. They didn't drop a single map, if my memory serves me correctly. Is that right?
Yeah, no maps dropped.
Impressive showing, and they have gone 1-0 here so far, as we already have had Elios played, with Apollo coming up on top there in our first control map. We are heading into Temple of Anubis here for our assault map tonight.
Looks like we're going to see a typical double shield comp coming out of the defense. Orisa, Sigma, got Baptiste Mercy for the Immortality Field and Res, and then Junkrat May.
Oh, we've seen Junkrat do a lot of damage here on Temple of Anubis. Very good at holding that prime entryway for the attackers going up through that mega side. Junkrat an absolute tour de force here, especially on point A. So not a surprising pick here coming out of Pack Academy. On the side of the offense, we're seeing a little Reinhardt Zarya looking to bring a Junkrat of their own with DXH on that Widowmaker, looking for an opening pick here as we come out of the gate. They're going to opt for the Moira Baptiste support line. Last second, we are getting a swap. DXH going over to that Reaper. Gates are open. We are underway here in our quarterfinals match. Map 2 on Temple of Anubis. Looks like they are going to path in through this far left side. They do have Junkrats up on the high ground. They ran into a trap already, but it looks like they are going to safely manage to get their members inside the tiny room. Now, whether they'll be able to make it out of there is yet to be seen, as they are eating a lot of spam coming out of this rat already from Bryce Dog. Shield whittled down as they're trying to make their way out of Mega. They do have possession of this health pack. Immortality Field used on the side of the offense. They have any more tools to push up. Bryce Dog's going to get the kill onto the main tank, and without their Reinhardt, I don't know that they're going to have the tools to push in. They lose their Junkrat, they lose their Zarya, and it is Pack Academy coming up with a good hold here on their first engagement.
Yeah, a nice strategy from Apollo. They had their Junkrat up on that top bridge, trying to spam down against the double shield composition of Pack Academy. But talking about stability, on the Sigma has that shield blocking the spam damage, so Apollo have to wrap back around, and in that time, the spam damage from Bryce Dog is just a bit too much. And VR Will goes down early, and Apollo loses the fight from there.
Apollo's coming back in. They're opening up with both their support ultimates, both Coalescence and that Ant Matrix used, trying to make their way onto the objective. Reinhardt with a big charge going to the back. He's got a Zarya bell to keep him alive, but he's going to face a lot of members of the defense here. He's going to try out with a nice fire strike and take out one of those members. Junkrat sent back to spawn. They get the kill onto Hockey Man as well as the Mercy. No more main tank, no more Mercy. And it looks like Apollo, that aggression serving them well. It stormed onto point A. They're getting progress going. It found two, but there's no follow-up. No one else from Apollo there, or Pack Academy there, excuse me, to follow up on that Blizzard. 2 ticks picked up.
Unfortunate.
First point coming through.
You're going to want that ultimate back if you are Pack Academy, but they do have 4 ultimates to try and prevent this snowball coming out of Apollo. Apollo got that point out of a bit of aggressive pin coming out from VR. And then a nicely timed bubble from Troop kept him alive, and then the per rotation from Pack Academy was pounced on well by Apollo.
Well, they may have lost that engagement on point A, but they did enough to get those ultimates built up, like you're saying, perhaps stave off a snowball here. DX trying to go to the high ground, see if he can find anything on this Reaper, but the May finds him out, freezes him. They're going to try to throw a Tire and see if he can start something, and it's going to find too. Tire working out well here. They just give his life in the process. Knows the Reaper that went down. That's 5 kills coming through on the side of Apollo here. And they are storming on this objective. 1 tick picked off already. Here comes the second. And with 4 minutes and 18 seconds on the clock, they're looking to make it a lightning fast time here on the assault. We are coming back with the Wrecking Ball. May on point now, try to stall this thing out. Ant Matrix coming out from the defense. See if they can whittle down some of this attack. But so far, they're having no luck. The front line standing tall. Guile coming up with a big pick there. His partner in crime, Truth, finding one as well. And this tank line just demolishes with just under 4 minutes on the clock. They get that point picked up. What a lightning fast time.
Yeah, 3 minutes and 58 seconds left on the clock.
We are getting some soldier play, though. Yeah.
He did miss the helix onto the high ground, though. He's going for it again. So he can get up there. Sorry,
You can do it. Oh, he got it. He got it this time. He got it this time.
Definitely interested to know the Reaper play here. Obviously, maybe to try and get into the faces of the tanks on the side of course, Pack Academy to make sure, hopefully, their tanks can get onto that DPS line. Of course, Bryce Dog and Mini Macho, of course, maybe don't want to dive those DPS now that you can see they've got the May Junkrat.
Yeah, with the May Junkrat, diving this composition is going to be tough. They're going to have to survive the onslaught of the Death Ball and see if they can get those picks before they get some position. They're going to go and try to jump on the back line, and they find the kill onto Moira. If there was any one kill they needed, that was the pick. They've got him pushed back into this little wall, but Soccer Master Bailey is going to counter right back, take out the Winston, buy his team some room, get out of this corner. And with that, they have, I think, foregone the attack on the high ground. They're looking to just go right up the gut now. They trade out DPS Soldier for Junkrat here. As Pack Academy making their way onto the objective. They got to watch this Reaper coming off the high ground. The Zarya has a focus. Bubbles coming out. They turn their attention, and he does go down. But in the meantime, Reaper is able to find that pick, all-important pick, onto Reinhardt. Good anti coming in as it's a 3v3 here on the objective. They're going to get the res off onto that Reaper as well, and that could just spell doom for this assault coming out of Pack Academy. These guys' attention onto the Moira as we speak. She's able to fade out. No, just barely under a 1 tick of progress picked up. Hockeyman is able to find himself a kill onto that Soldier, but they lose their Junkrat in the process. With little life, he is not able to escape the wrath of the Reaper. One by one, they are falling. Guile throwing that Primal Rage into the mix as well. So far, this dive composition working out here for Apollo.
Really managed to get out of charge on that Zarya, though, and with the Graviton Surge, having that extra bit of damage going into those targets who are stunned and kind of help us, that's going to help them a lot. True, trying to get the mech back up. I think that will be back up before the fight even starts. But, man, what do you think about that Soldier pick from DXH2Y, playing that instead of Widowmaker or even Hanzo?
It's an interesting pick. I mean, you want to have that mobility coming out of Soldier is very helpful with the rest of your team. You know, flying all over the map can get you out of a tight spot. But past that, you don't have that pick potential. Nevertheless, we are going to get that swap. Apparently, he didn't like the pick on that first engagement either. DX going over to that Doomfist. As the members of Pack Academy try to make their way, just storm onto the objective is one hole. They're going to throw that Coalescence down, keep the team topped off in the meantime. There's not going to be enough. Death Blossom coming out. Death Blossom finds 3, and DXX pitches up 1 on the exit. Make that 2. And the DPS lineup of Apollo coming in big, finding 5 kills in the blink of an eye and shutting down this attack.
Yeah, really nice fight planning. You can see that is perfectly on display from Apollo. They had the plan. Nano, Death Blossom, get in the faces and get those kills secured.
Yeah, and Pack Academy use their Blizzard in that as well, which could be a big game changer if they can ever get some value out of it. So far, not much luck with that ultimate. They do have both their tank ultimates coming online. That Graviton Surge available as we speak. Nice wall coming up, trying to funnel the members of Apollo as they come on to recontest the objective here. Bomb's going to get thrown out, does not find much. Sound barrier does come out on the side of the offense, though. So they're looking to take this. Bryce Dog going to open things up with a nice tire. Find himself a kill onto that Doomfist. They're not able to deny res. Apollo back at a full 6-man strength here. They're going to find the D-Mech and the kill onto the Mercy as well. And with that, that feed is just lighting up all blue. Apollo have not able to hold here with Pack Academy. Finally, weather in the storm, coming out on top, picking up point A.
Well, they make the switch over to the forward to try and contest this May Junkrat comp a little bit better. However, has limited sight lines on the second point of Anubis, but yet limited sight lines for the enemy to distract and actually be able to hit that 4 out of the air. DRXH2Y making the swap over to the May as well. They keep their tank composition and move over to Lucio Baptiste. Got one to aggress heavily onto Pack Academy, and hopefully they can get some kills as well. They do so because they have 4 ultimates online.
Yeah, Pack Academy did a good job of saving some of those ultimates through point A, and they do have the ability to snowball here. They're going to open things up with a Coalescence as they try to run in. Reinhardt's in trouble, forced down to the Mega under the bridge, but he gets a nice charge out, is able to get the kill onto the Winston there. Rejoin the rest of his team here at the front of the bridge. Meanwhile, they've lost both their DPS, though, and without that damage potential, they are forced to back out and retreat. Apollo will hold on here for the meantime, despite the ult advantage on the other side.
Yeah, they were able to. Oh, Peace lighting up and killing 3. Got a good, nicely cheeky kill feed. That'll go on his Twitter later. Anyways, they're using this Lucio Baptiste composition, this high mobility composition to aggress quickly onto Pack Academy. And they seem to struggle when they've been aggressed quickly, and they weren't able to use their ultimates to turn that fight back around. Also, when they do aggress quickly, Apollo builds a lot of space for their Spara XP position to get a lot of damage up because he's already charged up that barrage in basically one fight.
Yeah, he's just sitting right above him here with it online, ready to go, waiting for the right moment to strike. But they're going to speed themselves onto the objective in this offensive Pack Academy. But Expire finds that kill onto that Reinhardt Blizzard coming out from the offense. But will it survive the barrage? The barrage finds two. And is the perfect counter punch that Apollo was looking for here on the defense. Guile coming up with a big pick as well. And the May just struggling to stay alive here as Pack Academy sent back to spawn, looking for another answer here to point B.
They still have those two tank ultimates and the Coalescence online, also the Deadeye and the Sound Barrier quickly approaching, so they do have another great chance to get this point B. However, they've been holding on to those ultimates, and DHTY almost up to that Blizzard, so that could just be shut down with that one ultimate from Apollo.
They are still holding on to both of these tank ultimates. They've yet to use the Earthshatter or the Graviton Surge. They're going to go grab that Graviton Surge now. Coalescence was out, but nevertheless, defense still coming up on two picks. Blizzard comes out from Apollo as well. The Reinhardt manages to just barely escape it. But he's now forced back into this little wall. Lucio trying to come in and help him out. Meanwhile, the rest of his team is going down around him as they had no Reinhardt to help shield them from the onslaught of damage coming out of Apollo. And with just 43 seconds on the clock, Pack Academy is still struggling here on Temple of Anubis.
It really seems that Pack Academy have all these ultimates, but don't have a plan with them. They come in and just use an ultimate, don't get too much value out of it, or the entire team won't be able to follow up on it, like what they did with Bailey's Graviton Surge there. It seems that Pack don't have too much ability to get value out of their ultimate compared to Apollo.
Well, now is as good a time as any. They're going to go in through that Earthshatter down. It found both of the tanks, but the lamp comes out. Good play coming in out of Appleby to keep him alive. And another barrage coming out of Expire, doing the dirty to the Pack Academy here as they lose their Reinhardt and their Lucio to that ultimate. Truth coming in with a couple of picks on the exit. And that is going to do it. Pack Academy out of steam, out of momentum here. And Apollo will take map 2 in a 2-0 lead going into halftime.
Yeah, Apollo looking the stronger team early on. Support line looking really good. They're able to play these different competitions. We've seen them run Zarya, and we've also seen them run Winston Diva. So it definitely looks like they're the more versatile lineup. We've only really seen May Junkrat out of the side of Pack Academy. And obviously we've seen a very versatile DPS line. We've seen Soldier 76, Reaper, Junkrat, and Widowmaker at times from the side of Apollo. Let's see if they can continue their dominance after the half.
Well, welcome back, my friends. We are headed into Hollywood for map 3 of our CCO Winter Showcase quarterfinals matchup. This one between Pack Academy and Apollo. I'm Bullskunk, joined by Ocean here in the booth this evening.
Yeah, super exciting series so far. We have some substitutions for Apollo while we wait on the lineup for Pack Academy. We have Rugby coming in for VR Will. We also have Harabi Prime coming in for Expire Exposition. And we have Lucky Dog Overwatch subbing out for Miss Kittens. Yeah, it's really interesting to note that we have 4 teams who made playoffs in last season's CGL MTT, all present in the last 6 teams of this tournament here.
Right. Apollo coming out, start us off on the defense, hoping to hold on match point. Stamp their ticket into the semifinals matchup. We did get that main tank swap.
Also, we have a sub from Pack Academy as well, so that's something interesting as well. They subbed out Bryce Dog for Mercy Booty. I mean, definitely a unique username. Has a unique playstyle that helps the Pack Academy get back into this game.
When we're getting to that main tank swap coming out, and despite the swap, we are showing us a little Rein Zarya here. And we're going to see some Metra Hanzo on the defense, putting that hurt down. Interesting seeing that Sim on the defense. And you utilize that car wash and that big microwave beam here. On the side of the offense, we're also getting Rein Zarya. We're getting Mercy Booty on that Reaper, like Ocean just mentioned, as well as a May. And the May eats a headshot before she can even make it out the door. What a dirty arrow coming out of DXH.
I don't think we're seeing May.
Sending a message right there as the gates open. Macho seems to be sticking with it. DXH coming up with his second pick of the round so far.
We're not going to see any of Pack Academy if DXH takes the one like this.
He's just got to single-handedly stand on the high ground and rain arrows into the team. Looks like they are just biding their time, trying to wait for their Moira to get back. It's one thing to push without a Mei, but with no Moira, there is no chance of trying to aggress through this choke. And they have got to find an answer, DXH, on that high ground. Mercy is going to try to Wraith form up there. That means that cooldown is not available if trouble such arises. The Reaper has, or the McCree, I was sorry, the Hanzo has decided to move on over to the top of Cafe and finds that kill onto the Zarya. Pack Academy just looking in complete disarray here. Can't even seem to find where they want to point their attention. And so their attention shall be focused back and spawn as Apollo is holding here with ease so far.
A stagger many matchup on the Mei as well. Pack Academy, there's no way to describe it. They look lost. They're switching over the dive composition to maybe shut down DXH's sightlines on that top high ground on this first point, but they haven't had any answer. They've lost their Moira twice early, and they split off. The Reinhardt fell off that high ground, wasn't really followed, and they just kind of dispersed after that. Let's see if they can fix it up here.
They really did seem to just kind of go their own separate ways. Everybody seems to have their own plan, nobody on the same page. At least that's my eye test so far here for Pack Academy's attack. We'll see if they can get their act together as they're coming back in here. They're going to all dive the high ground together, and that's looking much better already. They do get whittled down a bit, but the healer's able to keep them topped off for the meantime. Now Mercy Booty's going to go into that backline, see if they can find a pick onto the Sim, perhaps onto the Mercy, but that Symmetra burns him down to 23 health. Rugby with the final blow. Takes Hammer to face. Meanwhile, the rest of Pack Academy trying to work around Mega as they once again got split off. They started off so strong. The Reaper went in aggressive, and the tank seemed to fall passive. In their indecision, they get divided and conquered and sent back to spawn. Apollo with all 6 ultimates on the board here on the defense.
It seems that Mercy Booty went into that Pac-Man and trying to grass, wasn't able to stay healed up because the healers had no sightline on them. Maybe just using space, trying to force something, but that space that was kind of deception. They didn't really have them. They didn't really have that space to use to get those kills that back. And the melee goes down. They use the Falk. It's not looking good for Pack Academy. 6 ultimates still online for Apollo.
Apollo hasn't been forced to press Y yet. They have no need to throw any of these ultimates into the battle. We are getting that res coming back up. So Pack Academy back at full strength here. We'll see if they're able to put together a coordinated assault coming into point A. Dragons are going to come out. First ultimate coming out of Apollo and catches him in that corner. Galaxy can't escape. The 2 DPS were caught in that corner and are whittled down low. Mercy Booty stuck in that corner still with only 2 ticks of health. Truth eliminates both of them. He goes back to spawn along with the Mercy herself. Just 35 seconds on the clock. Still 5 ultimates on the board here for Apollo on the defense.
Yeah, we got Rugby hiding for a shot.
Yeah, he's waiting for a flank shatter.
But not 0.25 ultimates used per fight win here for Apollo so far. It's not looking good if you're Pack Academy. See if they can find an answer with this dive composition.
That's a heck of a stat. I like that stat. They're going to run in and try to throw a pulse bomb. They're just in a desperation move, I think, to find the Baptiste. But he threw that lamp out, and the pulse bomb didn't stick anyway. Truth's going to open things up with the kill, and DXH picks that Tracer out of the backline. She dies before that magic 3-second mark, so overtime has not been triggered yet. Lucio is going to make it back to trigger that overtime, but he is running into a world of hurt. No reinforcements. Diva going to try to come in and make something happen. Cannot make it in time. A little bit of a moral victory. Ate the grab. But Apollo, win condition set. Going on the offense, just need 33% a point. Looks like they are
going back to that double shield composition. Baptiste, Moira. And they're running that Junkrat again. Let's see what mini Matrix seems to go for. He might go back to that Mei that we've seen him play very, very often in this series so far.
I'm guessing that's exactly what he's debating. Do you play the Mei? That's maybe his comfort pick, but so far it has not had much success. No, Macho going over to the Reaper here. Try to defend this off. On the side of the
I wonder if they're fishing for hammer kills. I wonder if that's what they're going for. I see DXH on that tour.
Yeah, this composition on the offense is just looking dirty all around. You've got the Hammond-Winston dive composition with McCree Torb on the offense.
3, 2, 1.
We're just going to keep a sharp eye on that Torb. He had his hammer out already as the door was opening. Don't get too anxious now yet, DXH. It's not over yet. Mercy, in fact, going to open things up with a good kill, but they answer right back. Trade out the Baptiste for the Junkrat. DXH had run into a trap. The Pack Academy is bunkered up on top of Cafe. Rugby trying to make his way up there, but he got whittled down to under 50 health. He's now managed to fall back around the corner, and Harambe coming up with a big pick. Trying to open this thing up for Apollo as they look to aggress onto the objective. That Sigma whittle down low, falls to the turret. Harambe doing the majority of the damage there, and they're just going to charge onto the objective. Rugby getting a nice kill, pouncing onto that Moira. Baptiste is not going to last long, and Apollo have just stormed right onto this thing. First try. They still have a couple of DPS to work with, and they are fighting. They are fighting with everything they've got, fighting to the last breath, and you love to see that. But it does look like Apollo has the momentum to take this thing. His reinforcements are dwindling here for Pack Academy. Percentage getting picked up, and everyone that runs in just either runs into a turret or a set of mines, and that is going to do it. That is the 33% they were looking for. Apollo will be moving on to face Danny DeFito in the semifinals.
Seemed to be a really poor tank rotation coming out of Pack Academy. They did get that elimination. They did get that kill early on onto Miss Kittens, but it wasn't enough for them to get back into the series and maybe hold a draw to live another day. But no, Cigar. Apollo move on. Pack Academy are unfortunately eliminated. We'll see what happens in the next semifinal game. We have another game for you, actually. Doubleheader after this.
Epic. Excellent.